Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz and I will be guiding you on this journey today. These are the readings for the human design profile, and also there will be readings for the human design types. So stick around, for that. We're going to be using the Spellcaster's tarot, which I love because this is probably one of the first 5 tarot decks I ever got. And I haven't used this deck probably actually in years. So before every reading, I do ask the deck if it wants to do all 16 now of the readings, and I'll just shuffle until it kicks out basically like a yes or no card. And the one deck I wanted to use, because I also haven't used it in a few years, gave me the 3 of Swords and the 8 of Pentacles. And I was like, okay, you are not in the mood for work. So, so then like this one was actually sitting right next to it. And I was like, ooh, what about EU? And it was like an immediate yes. So I love that. Also, the other deck that I wanted to use, part of the reason why I went to that one was because this wasn't recent. It was like in the last couple months. I actually went back and watched the first videos that I put out. And I think that was in December of 2021. And I don't know, I just kind of wanted to see. I wanted to see how it was or whatever. I don't know. But I'm not going to lie. I also was really expecting to be kind of embarrassed or like cringe, and I really only listened to my sun and rising ones, but I was not embarrassed or like cringy or anything, honestly, at all. Like, I was actually really fucking proud of myself, which is so funny because I was not expecting that reaction, which, that kind of sucks. Like that, I really do need to like give myself a break. But I left a comment though on every video. And of course I just, copied and pasted, but I just left a comment that said, hey Liz, this is Liz from 2025. And I just want to tell you like how fucking proud I am of you because you started this, like I was so nervous and I thought for sure you were going to be able to hear it in my voice. I thought for sure I was going to be stumbling over my words. I thought for sure that, that I was just going to like be continuously losing my words because I do that a lot, and just fumbling all over the place, but I wasn't at all, or not maybe to the extent that I thought. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, so I left, a comment and I was just like, man, like I am so fucking proud of you. And you're the one that felt the fear and did it anyway. And granted, I don't know exactly what I said in that comment. I could look it up, but something along these lines, just telling myself I'm proud of myself, because that past version of me is why I'm even still here. And also why I'm going to be teaching an intro to tarot class at this wonderful, experience boutique next month, which I never thought I would do. So it's just, it was really cool. And I'm so glad that I did that too. Also, the other thing that was kind of funny is that in the intro of those videos, I was like, the acronym for Heretic Owl is HO. So I was like, if you're a hoe, subscribe to the channel. Or if you want to be a hoe, subscribe to the channel. Which I just think is absolutely hilarious. Like, hoe is one of my favorite endearing words. Like, I do not use it like at derogatory. I know people do. I don't, but yeah, so if you want to be a hoe, subscribe to the channel. Be a hoe with the rest of us. But also, like, you know, Heretic Owl Tarot is hot. So, you know, being a hoe makes you hot, you know, or whatever. I can't say, like, you know, do hot girl shit because I don't know if Megan Thee Stallion trademarked that. But anyway, just funny. Just funny. And also too, like I said, like I just remember being so fucking nervous. I literally, I had a phone that barely had any memory on it. I had a computer that barely had any, I could literally only do one video at a time because I didn't have memory or storage on like any device, you know, to actually do multiple videos at a time. And I was using like a folding table, and I had my, I should have grabbed it actually. I had my little owl stone or whatever, which I do still have. But anyway, yeah, very cool. So that's all I'll say. This is the second time I'm actually recording this intro because the first time I was like blabbering on for literally like 15 minutes. So that's it. Oh, that's not it. We're going to do these readings a little bit different this time. And this is also like the way that I've been reading for myself lately. I've been pulling like 2 sets of cards. The first set is the lie, which is the obstacle, or of course, I mean, literally the lie, right? That we're either telling ourselves that usually is like what we're telling ourselves. You know, it could be the limiting belief, old stuff, you know, whatever is also like holding you back or keeping you small. And then the other side is going to be the truth. And of course, right, I mean, I feel like that is pretty self-explanatory. It's a little bit similar-ish to the 333 readings that I do, which is like the door and the key. Similar-ish. But I've already done the 1-3 reading actually, and oh my gosh, that was beautiful. So no doubt all of these readings will turn out that way. And also I believe that the truth is so imperative right now, and especially because we are being bombarded with the depth and the expanse of lies that literally like our whole lives, you know, like the economy, the government, the, you know, the, you know, billionaire class, or, you know, like whatever you want to, whatever, you know, we are literally being bombarded with like how much of that shit is lies, how much we've been fed, you know, like lie wise. And, I think it is imperative, like I said, right now to really hone in on your truth, accept what is true for you as well. And also, again, like even recognize the lies that we're telling ourselves, the limiting beliefs that we're telling ourselves, the identities that we've been, you know, carrying around or operating from, the conditioning, really, because, you know, I mean, with human design, like a big part of it is the deconditioning process. And I really do think that by more people honoring their own truth, it really is, you know, going to shift the world. So that's kind of also like where that's coming from. So I will officially leave it there, and we'll get into the readings. Great. So this is a reading for the 5-1 human design profile, the Heretic Investigator. If you don't know what your profile is, there is a link in the description for you to get your human design body graph. Your profile will be listed on there, and your type will be listed on there as well. So look out for those readings whenever they come out. I'll probably start doing those in the next couple days. Anyway, how are you guys, my fellow 5-1s? Also, like, do you ever watch Tyler's Tarot? He is my favorite fucking tarot reader. Like, if I if I need a boost, like if I need something to put me in a better mood, I watch Tyler's tarot. I know, like, I mean, he does a lot of like relationship reading, you know, like it's a lot of that, which I don't ever watch like relationship reading. I haven't been in a relationship in 8 years. I have no intention of ever being in another one. But I mean, he'll throw other stuff in there though. But oh my gosh, I don't know. I watched, I think maybe his March reading last night, or one of his March readings last night, and I just was having such a great time. So anyway, like I said in the intro, and also like, I mean, I just need to kind of assume some people don't watch intros, and I don't blame you because I don't either. We're doing what is the lie and what is the truth, which kind of seems self-explanatory, but the lie is what are we telling ourselves? You know, it's the story, it's the perception, it's false, you know? The truth is, of course, what is beneath that, or, you know, self-explanatory. What is the truth? So for the lie, we have the King of Wands. And the Ten of Swords, interesting. Okay. And what is the truth? You know what? Okay. Actually, okay. Let's... I was about to start going in. This Ten of Swords, that's a king that is on the ground. Like, isn't that interesting? Okay, all right, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Let's take it easy and get these. What is the truth? Like, those came out so fast. What is the truth? Let's see, we got 3 cards here. Okay. We have the Devil, Page of Swords, Ace of Wands. How interesting to have the Devil on the side of the truth. Okay. I was kind of giggling about the size of this sword in the Page of Swords here, which is interesting because there is this progression, you know, like from the Ten of Swords to the Page of Swords. Let me just... Okay. Okay. Man, honestly, I've been sitting here for a couple minutes just scanning these cards, like just kind of taking it in. And I mean, you probably won't know that because I'll cut that part out. I do cut out like the long pauses. I don't know if it's like necessary to do that, but anyway, this combo is the most interesting combo, honestly, I've like seen. In these readings, I feel. So this feels like the lie is you are not, it's like you're telling yourself that like maybe you're not where you think you are, or like, does that make sense? Or that you're not as successful as you think you are, or there's something between, of course, because these two cards are out here. This King of Wands, which is, of course, it's a king, right? So it's the highest expression of the suit. Wands have to do with action, the motivation behind the actions that we take, creativity, passion. I also see wands as being information by way of experience, because that's what we get by trying things. We figure out what works, what doesn't work, what do we like, what don't we like. It's like literally putting that investigation into practice. Like the first line investigation and into like the fifth line universalizing and affecting, like change. And that we get that information by actually trying. I always kind of use the example of like hobbies, because I can't even tell you how many times I thought I was going to pick up a hobby and it was just going to become my personality. And I spent like hundreds of dollars buying shit for it because, like I said, like I was convinced it was going to be my personality, and I tried it, hated it. There's been plenty of things that I have tried and loved, or I liked certain aspects of it, didn't like other aspects of it, tweaked those other aspects of it. There's been things that I thought I was going to hate, and I absolutely did. But I didn't get that information until I tried. Because also, it's one thing to think about. It's one thing for it to be in our minds. It's another thing for it to be put into action. And I think that could even sum this up. Like, again, there's a perception, there's a way that we are thinking about things that is just not equal to what is actually happening. It could be, that the actions that you have taken haven't yielded the results that you expected. It could be that it didn't show up in a specific type of package. It didn't look a certain way. It didn't feel a certain way. It's like you were expecting, angels to start singing and you didn't get that. Maybe all you heard was like birds chirping. Because there are these two birds, these two little blue birds that like also first caught my eye. Because also too, like these little birds are throughout the Wands cards. I mean, in this card, the Ace of Wands over here, they look more like doves or whatever, but they do feel like little guides though. And so, like I said, right, kings are the highest expression of the suit. This is somebody who shares their experience. Let me close of course I have my laundry going. So king's highest expression of the suit. Also, the King of Wands is the entrepreneur of the tarot. This is somebody who needs to have creative freedom. This is also somebody that it's like maybe doing, or what is the ask for forgiveness instead of asking for permission. This is also somebody who like puts their experience, the things that they've learned, the wisdom, right, into practice, or they share it with other people. Also, I mean, of course, like kings oversee a kingdom. People look to them for guidance, security, safety. And then, like I said, like over here with the Ten of Swords, there is a king down. Tens are completion as well. Swords have to do with our mind. Our thoughts, our beliefs, truth, honesty. I also see swords as being the suit of ego, because that's generally where we tend to hear our ego is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences, to emotions. And, you know, like a thing happened in the earlier years of your life, and based on the little bit of experience that we had, our brains attached a meaning to it. That became our belief system. That became our identity. That became why we do things, why we don't do things, why we think the way that we do, why again, we believe the things that we do. Like literally something happening to, like, you know, at 7 years old, and I had like 4 years of consciousness, like 4 years of vocabulary, which isn't really a lot. And my brain attached a meaning to that event or events. And literally for, you know, like the next 35 years, I am operating and reacting and moving through my life from that belief. You know, ego. Also, I keep looking at this guidebook because the King of Wands is on the front of it. So I want to read what the King of Wands says on here. A mature individual who is compassionate, reserved, and faithful. Self-assurance and confidence is one's ability to attain success. An unconventional and highly intelligent person who has chosen to do things their own way and who has achieved success as a result. One who takes responsibility seriously. An established individual whose ideas are respected. Wisdom that comes from experience. A faithfully married person, that's kind of random. A thoughtful yet somewhat trying father. Okay. Honesty, stability, compassionate, authority, responsibility. Trust in oneself leads to success. An established leader, fairness, good and just leadership. As fifth line beings, right? Like, I don't know about you, but going the conventional route, the traditional route, this guy's not going to do that. And again, you know, as somebody that is also a 5-1, I can't. Traditional routes freak me out. I just can't. I just can't do things for very long, at least, the same way that everybody else is doing them. It's like one thing to have inspiration, or it's like one thing to be made aware that something is possible, like a way of doing something is possible, but then it's like having to switch it up. And like, how can I make this mine, right? And like with this 10 of Swords here, this is, you know, a king is overthrown. There's 9 swords in his back. He's holding 1 sword here. These swords, he didn't put these swords in his back himself, right? Like, this really does feel like it's coming down to projection. There might be a fear of being seen. There might be a fear of being seen or taking on a role of leadership or authority. I also think that it's interesting that there are these 2 wolves here. Like, I know that they're just kind of smelling around like, hey, you know, this kind of looks like a meal here. But to me, I feel like they're checking on him. I don't know. Like if not friendly, why friend shaped, and also we see no other people around but these two wolves. Intelligence, deep connection with instinct, freedom, social loyalty, and sharp intuition. What does it say? Instinct, intelligence, appetite for freedom, which is this King of Wands, and awareness of the importance of social connections. This animal can also symbolize fear of being threatened or lack of trust. When the wolf shows up in your life, pay attention to what your intuition is telling you. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel like this is almost coming down to, it's like projection burnout. Because maybe it does feel like fear of projection, but I don't, like, that's what I was originally going to say. And then I'm like, no, I feel like it's more projection burnout than anything else. Like it's like, trying to be helpful and being burned. Like being burned by unmet expectations that, like, you literally had no clue even existed, it's like wanting to be the King of Wands energy and be free. And again, like, share what you know and, be that person that people can come to and you give them advice, or again, like even being in a leadership role or taking on more of some sort of authority or like leadership type position, but then it's like met with, or the concern or the hesitation is, oh, like, how is this gonna turn out? How am I gonna be, perceived, or how, whatever. And it's interesting, like, this is the side that's the lie. So it's like, it's thinking that that's always going to be your experience. Thinking that, also too, that projections are like always going to have this big impact. Also too, like, it's like projecting before the projection happens. Because I feel like that's kind of what the Ten of Swords is. It's like all of the ifs, ands, whats, buts, like all of the what ifs, all of, trying to think of all the different ways that something could go. And, generally we're not necessarily thinking of like all the ways that something can be successful, right? Like we want to be prepared for how we are going to be stabbed in the back. Regardless of if it happens or not, so it's like not even allowing ourselves to like be excited, or again, like to even consider all of the ways that something could work. Even that this King of Wands energy may not be possible. But it's interesting. Like, I do, like, there's two birds, there's two wolves, like there's two birds over here. I feel like there is some type of protection. Maybe you have like two spirit guides around you that show up in different ways. And then over here for the truth, we have the devil, which like I said, like, it's hilarious that the devil is on the side of the truth. Page of Swords, Ace of Wands. I haven't even read the devil in this book yet. I don't even think this card has come out yet, which I love. See? Already. already doing things differently. Actually, none of these cards have come out in any of the readings that I've done so far. Over here, like none, the Page of Swords hasn't come out. The Ace of Wands hasn't come out. The devil is the ultimate trickster, that lusty beast within us. All that lures us, that lusty beast within us, all that lures us into greed, anger, envy, and other vices with little regard for the effect on one's soul or other consequences. While temperance represents restraint, moderation, and care, the devil represents abandon, excess, disregard, and indifference. It is a sense of entitlement we feel when none is due to us. It is fear and despair, the shadow of darkness that eats up the light, symbolizing temptation as well as destruction. The devil reminds us that the devil reminds us that what may seem like a bargain in the moment can easily turn into a nasty deal in the long run. The price of vice is virtue, and it's a hefty toll to wage. Bro, I kind of feel like that was a bit of a read. The Page of Swords says courage and bravery despite inexperience, eagerness to prove oneself, a young person who has a willingness to conquer obstacles, an individual who is self-assured, daring, and perhaps a bit brazen in their actions, an immature or dishonest person, bold or brash behavior, anticipation, thoughtlessness, selfishness, self-centered, self-serving. Taking a daring and direct approach will help one to best achieve one's desires. Enthusiasm, confidence that is perhaps unfounded, spontaneity, taking advantage of a situation, seizing an opportunity, cockiness. That's like, the good sides, and then like the absolute worst, which is interesting. Like that, again, that we have the devil out here. And I feel like the truth is that the problem over here is that the motivation has been anchored into the wrong thing. Like if your efforts have not paid off, it's because your reason, your why, your motivation is either greed, vanity, like it says, talk about a read, right? And like I said, like it's interesting that this sword is so fucking huge. I'll like go on this tangent sometimes about the fifth line, because to me, in my experience, I guess, like with the fifth line, I feel like the gift, if you want to call it that, with the fifth line is that there is a need, truly, to me, it feels like a need to know yourself so deeply and so, I was going to say connectedly, that's not even a word, so deeply that nobody could tell you who you are, right? Like, I mean, how many projections have been levied against you where somebody is telling you like, you're this, you're that, and you're like, that is not at all like who I am. That's actually your behavior. Like you're literally talking about yourself. Like this one perfect example I have is of an ex-boyfriend, and I have witnesses too, which is wild, but that we were arguing and he's like telling me like all these things that I am and how I'm acting. And I was literally like, am I a fucking mirror right now? Because everything that you just listed is literally everything that you have done. And I'm literally like, I look at my friend, I'm like, am I fucking nuts? And she was like, I don't know. But like I said, like it's a real great opportunity to not only be like anchored in your own integrity, but I mean, to truly know yourself, because you have to know your limits, right? Like you have to know what you're capable of, what you're not capable of. It's almost like having to like keep a personal record of, and maybe I'm doing too much. I don't know. It's not like I keep, actually, I'm like, I kind of do keep receipts mentally, my little mental filing cabinet. Especially when people start trying to do this, like especially when people, when the story or the vibe starts changing, I'm like, I don't even have to pull up receipts because I know the type of person I am. I know what I would do. I know what I wouldn't do. I know my motivations behind those things. And I'm not saying that I'm a saint or an angel or anything, but I know my own truth. And like I said, like I feel like that's the gift of a fifth line. And maybe even, part of the journey of it too. Because I mean, people are just going to say things that again, like it's not you, it's them. And you have to be able to be like, oh, no, that's not really me, Also with this devil card though, this could even be like I said with swords, right? And it being the suit of ego, and ego is the stories that we attach to experiences, and it became our beliefs, right? And I was using that example, which is interesting because we have this page of swords. Like I was using that example of being 7 and these events happening, and then I'm a fucking 7-year-old with that much like a lack of experience in life, attaching gnarly meanings to shit. And then I'm in my 30s, I'm in my 20s, like I'm in my early 40s, and I'm still reacting to life, or I'm still navigating experiences through that same story. And I'm happy to say that I do feel that I worked through that. Like I did EMDR therapy last year. I mentioned that at some point back then too, because I took a break from doing tarot readings to like process through all that shit. And my 7-year-old self was somebody that came up. So that's kind of why I'm using that example. But in EMDR, right, like I discovered this story that my 7-year-old self, came up with. And I'm proud of her for that, like that was the best that she could have done with the limited information that she had, right? And that shit got us through the next, like I said, 35 years, right? But being 42-year-old Liz now, I can say to my 7-year-old self, I can see why you attach that story and that belief to that experience, but I can see it differently now because I have 35 more years of experience and 35 more years of living in this body and being, this person that we are. So yes, was that the truth at the time? Yeah, for you it was. But now adult me can almost like cleanse that energy. I get to determine if that is something that is still true for me or not as well. And it wasn't true. That's like inner child healing and like reparenting, right? Because then I get to be like, what is the truth, right? Like, the truth was I was really fucking confused by everybody. I was confused by my friends. I was confused by the other kids my age. I was confused by my sibling. I was confused by my parents. I was confused by, like the adults around. And actually, like, I started gravitating towards animals. Like, I started riding horses around that time. My parents got a dog around that, and I just I scooped that dog up, and that dog became mine. Because that wasn't confusing to me. Animals weren't confusing. People were. And again, like, I navigated the next 35 years from that confusion, but I didn't have an awareness of it, right? Like, it was in there, but that EMDR therapy took me back to where that seed was planted. And yeah, your girl had a big old breakdown over that. That, even like the devil, it's like what are the things that are controlling you? What is the truth of that too? I think I went on this little tangent during the intro where I was like, truth is so fucking imperative right now, because there's so many lies that are coming out, and there's so many things that literally everything was built on, bullshit. And it's so imperative not only to accept those lies and accept what the actual truth is about global things. But it starts at home, right? I mean, we have to be able to see what is true for us. See the truth of ourselves, right? And again, what has been the thing that has been motivating you? Is it, I want to show somebody up. I want to prove somebody wrong. I want to, even, by being successful, that has something to do with my worth. I kind of love that this Page of Swords is in the middle, because it almost kind of feels like it's gonna slash through this Devil card. And also too, and I know of course it's because it's the swords and they're in the mountains here, but it just looks like they're ready to save the day, or I wish a motherfucker would. That's the look that they have on their face. To me, anyway. Sitting here looking at it, I didn't even actually check to make sure that these cards are actually in the frame. Sorry about that. I mean, thankfully they were, but... And then, and I keep kind of mentioning motivation over here, and that's why, because we have the Ace of Swords out here. I love that we have the King of Swords and the the fucking King of Wands and the Ace of Wands. I mean, the King of Wands is holding the Ace of Wands. And I love, it's it is still available, right? But the shift is... And it, the devil could be seeking validation, which I know I just said, if the motivation was proving your worth, proving the projections wrong, whatever it is, it's whatever this Devil card is. Sure. I mean, it could be addictions. It could be, It's literally the things that keep us chained. And that's why I was using the example of, like my little 7-year-old self. And maybe like I did make this video, like I went through my whole EMDR experience. It's like fucking 2 hours long. But I just, like, I went through, because I picked up, that's what I call it anyway. I picked up my 3-year-old self, 7, 12, 14, 15, 16-ish, like teenage, 18 to like 20. And I don't know if I did like 30s. I can't remember. I think I maybe like wrapped, like my 30s like into current, but it really was like such a profound journey. And also, like, there really is a weight taken off of me. Like, I really do feel free and like liberated, and I feel like I can actually make decisions from me now. Like, I mean, sure, like the fear is still there, the the worry, the like whatever, but it's like I know what that is now. And instead of feeling like helpless to it, or instead of letting it control what I do and what I don't do, I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember you. But like, I'm safe, like we're fine. We're going to live. We're going to make it through this, So yeah, I hope that I explained the truth, like, well enough. Interesting too that there's like all these snakes down here. I wonder like what kind of year you had last year, like the year of the snake. A lot of shedding. This is, I again, like, I don't want to start like repeating myself and like, I'm beating a dead horse, but this big ass sword, like that is your truth. I also love that it's like in the middle, because on one side is these truths that, quote unquote truths, right? Like that these stories that we have accepted as being true, but really, again, either it could have been something that was projected onto you at some point in your life. Somebody told you were too much, too big, too loud, too not worthy, not whatever, and you just, because you're human, you've been operating from that belief for however long, right? And then on the other side of it is, like I said, like liberation, and almost like personal motivation. Like, it literally comes from your soul type of thing. And like on the bottom of the deck, we have the 3 of Pentacles, which is like collaboration, working with others. We have the Knight of Swords behind that. Again, like with this 3 of Pentacles, this is, like I said, it's collaboration. It's people working together. There's these kids here. This guy is like, showing them or teaching them about something. This really feels like being in your element. It feels grounded, of course, because it's an earth card. But instead of it being from a place of, again, like wanting validation, needing to prove your worth, like just kind of out there dilly-dallying, this is sharing like your interest. It's making connections with people who are interested in the information that you have. Collaborating, like I said, it's cooperation. It's working with people who are interested in what you are offering. I feel like it's also like I keep getting this feeling of being anchored or like being tethered. And also, this is communication, right? The Knight of Swords. It can be like a bit impulsive, but it feels actually exciting to me. Like it feels like what you are sharing, what you are talking about, what you're even thinking, the perception that you have. It's like it just flows out of you. There's an excitement around it. And we have the Hierophant behind that, which is also interesting because look at the similarities between the Hierophant and the Devil card. But I know that the imagery on this card, it's kind of tripping me out a little bit. But and I don't want to go into really like an ego place because this is the comparison here is that this type of devotion, like if you want devotion, if the motivation is again to be seen, to be famous, to be recognized, to be validated, like you're worth to be validated, right? This would be coming from a lack of that somewhere in your life. With the Hierophant though, it's like it feels like people really connecting to your message. And it's almost like maybe you do, like you start out small. There's, a few people that, you hone in on your message or your experience, your work, because Pentacles is our money, our job, our income, resources, materials, your time, your physical presence, like where are you physically showing up in your life? It's your body and health. And like I said, right, this is like collaboration. This is working with others. But in this card, we have this one person that looks like, to me, a teacher, showing these kids, whatever that is. It looks like a silver dollar. Is that what they're called? Or is that what they're called? Skill in a trade or craft, professional success and recognition. Hello. A workers' guild, putting one's skills and talents to use, cooperation, acceptance into a school or other organization, earning acceptance into a peer group, employment, the work environment, networking among business contacts. It is like kind of random though that there's is that what it's called, a silver dollar? No, it must not be. What is that called? Sand dollar. Okay, I got the S part right. A sand dollar. Related to sea urchins and starfish. Okay. Peace, tranquility. Delicate protection. transformation and rebirth due to their interesting life cycle. It's like, sharing. That could actually also be an apple. Because there's like all these apples back here, girl. It really does look like a sand dollar to me, though. No? But it could literally be an apple. Okay. So what do apples mean? Everything means something, Health and well-being. Temptation. Love, beauty. Well, you know what, dude? You could be sharing like your process, how you became who you are, right? I mean, it's sharing like your life story, which is pretty much like the King of Wands, right? I mean, like they're literally sharing the wisdom that they gained through life fucking experience. I'm glad that it actually even like came together at the end of it. Like my mind is like actually blown here all of a sudden, because it's almost, it's like sharing, again, like sharing your experience. It helps other people, right? But it's like you have to be able to see the truth. Like you have to be able to see where your integrity is, to see where your integrity is like out of alignment somewhere. Like, where are you lying to yourself? What things have controlled that. And it's almost like with this Three of Pentacles, and also even like look at the similarities between the Three of Pentacles and the fucking Hierophant. Like, you start sharing your, whatever, like your beliefs, even your process, whatever even that first line is for you, like just start blabbing, right? Like just start talking and sharing. And it's almost like it just catches on, it just, the message gets out there, and then you have following. People respond to your story because they can see themselves in it. But also, I will say though, because again, like this Hierophant card is just kind of freaking me out, and maybe is just my own projection. But I'm just really not a fan of when people give up their own agency, or like, like they just blindly like follow people, or they just start identifying with people that they resonate with or that they see themselves through. And it's just like, it kind of becomes this devil energy. So I think that's probably what I'm projecting, and why it's, like I said, like kind of freaking me out. But again, I think that's also even just another thing about like just remaining in your own integrity. What is true for you? Sticking with the truth. This has been quite a ride. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to pull cards for you. I hope that this made sense. And I'm going to leave it there. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.